Hi, everyone. Welcome to Carnegie Mellon University's Campus Engagement Day. My name is Amanda Halula. I am a Senior Assistant Director and Career Consultant here at the Career and Professional Development Center. And today's session is going to feature speakers from programs at the university that prepare students for careers in the civil engineering, energy, sustainability, and environment functional area. Each speaker is going to present a little bit about their department or program, and then we're going to turn it over to the employers at the end for Q&A. So right now we have scheduled for about 10 minutes of Q&A at the end, so that's tentative to start at about 2:15. Each presenter will have about 12 minutes or so, or less, whatever they want to take up in terms of time. So for that portion, we're asking that you keep your microphones muted through the presentation portion is what I'm referencing. And then please save your questions at the end for that Q&A session. And we did have some volunteers to go first. So overall, I'm going to go through all three presenters, and then Kelvin's going to kick us off. But to give you an idea of who today's speakers are, we have Joanne Beckwith from Chemical Engineering. We have Kelvin Gregory from Civil and Environmental Engineering. And finally, we have Paul Salvador from Energy Science, Technology, and Policy. So Kelvin, please go ahead and start us off. Kelvin, you're muted, by the way.
Unmute. Sorry about that. I wanted to get my presenter view up here. Okay. All right. Can everyone see this and hear me just fine? Okay, that's great. Well, thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be here and talk with you about our outstanding and really unique students that we produce here at Carnegie Mellon University. And why is my mouse? Hang on a second, I can't find my mouse. So do we still see the same view here?
We see the basically you opening up the PowerPoint, but not the actual slide view of it. It's just like when you open up Microsoft PowerPoint. Now we see the one with the presenter notes, by the way.
Okay, good. You see the presenter view?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a little awkward, isn't it? Why is this not working? Okay, well, I guess I'll just do this.
There we go. There we go.
It's not exactly what I had in mind here. I'd rather use our presenter view. Is it more worthy just to have the presenter view? You can see what I'm saying.
Well, now we can see the slide deck, like without the presenter notes. So you're good.
All right. Well, all right. I don't want to dwell on this. Okay. So anyhow, my name is Kelvin Gregory. I'm a professor in civil and environmental engineering, and one of the things that I wanted to, just as a sort of a blanket thing here for all of our departments is that we produce some very unique graduates and at the BS, MS, and PhD. And I'm not just referring to civil and environmental engineering, but here at Carnegie Mellon, if you are a technical hiring person, you're largely aware of how excellent our engineering school is. But one of the sort of little known facts, outside this people who are technically hiring is that this is a school that has one of the top 10, even top 5 programs in fine arts, and we incubate students in this environment, and we produce these graduates that are engineering graduates that think more creatively about what they do, and fine arts people that think more technically about what they do. And it's because we have this very unique environment which our students are engaging with each other. So I've got a couple quick facts here about civil and environmental engineering. We offer 2 degree programs, one in civil engineering, one in environmental engineering. The environmental engineering program is just up last year. We've got our second class of students that are entering into the program this fall. Both of them are top 10 programs, as is civil and environmental engineering at the master's level. About half of our students are women. That's something we're very proud of. That's not a recent thing. We've always been very even balanced positive in terms of the number of women in our program. And we, of course, have a world-class faculty here with 5 National Academy members. We are highly interdisciplinary. And this is across the campus as well. But the things that we do in civil environmental engineering is that we are designing things that interface with the existing built environment and new built environment the information environment, and of course, the natural environment. So our students need to know something about all of these things. They need to know something about chemistry and something about biology and data science, and of course structures and water treatment. And some of the challenges that our students are engaging with right now in terms of thinking about their careers and what we're training them for are really a diverse set of problems related to climate resilient systems, and especially infrastructure systems, smart cities, water quality and sustainability, the food, energy, water nexus. Some of our areas of expertise are included here in this slide here with sustainable and intelligent infrastructure systems, climate change adaptation, and of course resilience. How do we design around a very uncertain future? How do we deal with that kind of uncertainty when we've got a natural system where the 200 years worth of rainfall data isn't really relevant to the next 50 years, and our infrastructure systems are going to be around for 50 or 100 years, or even 200 or 300 years. There are some bridges, of course, over in the East Coast that are built in the 1600s. There's one in Philly, but nevertheless, water quality, air quality, science, and engineering is an important part of what we do. Sustainable water refers to water quality and also water availability. And of course, environmental decision support. How do we make critical decisions around uncertainty looking into the future? Our department here, generates very technically excellent students, as well as students who are well-rounded through a very broad education that threads its way through the entire college. But we want our students to be meeting these future challenges through thinking very critically and innovatively about the kinds of things that they do. And but also be able to bring conventional solutions to the table and weigh the plus and minuses of these things, so that ability to be leaders. And it's a part of what we do. We have a very design it, build it, break it, analyze it kind of culture around here. Very hands-on in the things that we do. Why our graduates? They're technically excellent, as I mentioned, socially conscious, ethical. We've got a very innovative culture here that we pull our students through, and this is something that we impart onto them very intentionally. Critical systems thinkers, as I mentioned, it's a very interdisciplinary environment that the kind of problems that our students are going to be dealing with in the future, systems and systems of systems, so complex systems. They're very adept at engaging with new technologies and science, addressing society's needs, and of course, improving their professional fields. Sort of lastly here, this is some of the roles that our civil and environmental engineers take on. And you'll see that they're not really restricted to what you might traditionally think of as civil and environmental engineering practice. Of course, engineers and consultants, but also supply chain management, project managers, engineering, software design, data analytics, operations managers, and a variety of companies have brought our students on that include, Wall Street and the Midwest breadbasket type companies that are working at that food, energy, water nexus. And that's my last slide, and I'll be happy to turn this over to the next person and look forward to answering your questions later.
Awesome, thanks, Kelvin. And I just put a link to our outcomes dashboard on our website for those. I know Kelvin mentioned that on his slide, but figured if you need a link to click. All right, Joanne, you are up.
Well, when I click share screen, it says that it's disabled.
Okay, let me.
There it goes.
Okay, I think I just had to make it so that multiple people could share.
Okay, can you see my slides all right? Okay, well, I am very excited to be here today to talk to you about the Department of Chemical Engineering. I'm an assistant teaching professor in the department, and I just wanted to highlight that we also have another session in this day on materials, chemicals, and process engineering. So I'm focused, though, in this session on energy, sustainability, and the environmental sector. And I wanted to bring this up because chemical engineering is such a broad discipline. And our goal today is to give you a bit of information about our department and the kind of problems our students are working with and how they tie to that energy sector. And I think that is important because chemical engineering is not civil engineering. It's not environmental engineering. We're looking at things from a much broader perspective. And in a nutshell, as chemical engineers, we're working with processes and products and thinking about how we can take raw materials and convert them into products that solve societal challenges. And one of those societal challenges that we're dealing with right now is in energy, environment, and sustainability. So we really value this in our department, and the fact that we can think about our role from this broad perspective and break it down into smaller pieces that can be applied to really any industry. And we do this by thinking about our processes as unit operations. So thinking about the fundamental math and science behind each one of these smaller chunks, how we can combine them together and how we can optimize them to solve these challenges. And I just have a few, these are the kinds of problems that our students are working on and thinking about throughout all of our classes and integrated throughout our whole curricula. So some of these challenges that students are thinking about are greenhouse gas mitigation and how we can capture and sequester CO2 and put that, I guess, prevent that from causing atmospheric change. We're also thinking a lot about the electric economy and thinking about how to design new batteries, new fuel sources, and new storage capacity for this changing energy economy. We've had a real renewed focus on additive manufacturing and thinking about how we create new products using things like 3D printing and the materials that we're using for 3D printing. And a great application of that would be in the photovoltaic device manufacturing processes. And then these are not energy environment applications, but our students are very passionate about biology and thinking about things like vaccine development, as well as consumer products and pharmaceutical manufacturing. And our graduates right now are really working everywhere. We often say that there's not a product in the country that wasn't touched in some way by a chemical engineer. And I think that's a real strength of our department, is that we're preparing our students to work in any sector, in any field. So you might see your company on this list of companies, and if not, we're really interested in learning more about your company and forming partnerships to get our students working in the energy and environmental sector. I also want to highlight that our students go everywhere in the country, and it's really because we're focused on this problem-solving strategy where students can apply these skills anywhere. And so how do we do that? So our curricula is really divided into 3 sections. First, we have our fundamental sciences. These are things like chemistry, physics, biochemistry, and math that students take in kind of the broader campus community. Then we focus on their chemical engineering sciences. So really understanding the phenomena and the fundamental engineering principles behind things like thermodynamics, fluid mechanics, heat transfer, and our molecular foundations. Then we have a specific course in chemical engineering on computing and mathematical modeling that allows students to take those fundamental sciences and convert them into design. So we have design courses in reactions, unit operations, process optimization, and control. And what makes our department, I think, stand out from other top departments in the country is really this focus on having well-rounded chemical engineers. So we have chemical engineering courses in all 4 years. So our students are able to go out and get an internship after that first year, having a background in chemical engineering. They've taken their fundamental material balance classes, and if you're looking for interns, even in that first year, they can really bring value to a company. We also have a strong emphasis on process system design, as well as bringing in new innovative, really what I think is the frontier of chemical engineering in machine learning and molecular principles to guide our design processes. Finally, many of our students, as Kelvin said, are very well-rounded and have a really broad, diverse set of interests. And our major pairs really well with additional majors in bioengineering and also engineering and public policy, which I really think is critical when we think about the energy sector, thinking about the different policies and initiatives that are happening. Our students don't only understand the environment in terms of the science, but also the public policy and the decision-making that's going on in the broader society. I also just want to shout out that our department really values having a global reach. So our students are doing all sorts of activities outside of the classroom. Many participate in our study abroad program that partners with some of the top other chemical engineering colleges around the world. So we have students doing years at Imperial College in London and Aachen in Germany. Many of our students also do research, undergrad research, and we also have a program I want to highlight called Pisces, Practical Internship for Senior Chemical Engineering students, where they can complete a full year internship. So we're really looking for companies to partner in this program and get more students interested, because we know that a lot of chemical engineering learning happens when students are out in the field. As I also said, we're doing a lot of research in the energy and environmental sector. And I just wanted to highlight two research groups that our students are working in. We have several faculty members that belong to the program called CAPS. It's the Center for Atmospheric Particle Studies. And what they're doing is studying the impact of atmospheric particles on climate change. So looking at how in very simple terms, when we have forest fires, particles are entering the environment that react with sunlight, that create new clouds, that can change precipitation, and also have health impacts for society, for humans. And we can use our machine modeling and machine learning tools in chemical engineering in order to predict how this is impacting Earth's climate and how it's impacting weather patterns. We also have several researchers who are looking at machine learning for new catalyst discovery and kind of on the forefront of this new energy economy, looking at how to create new fuels, how to create new fuel cells, and we can even use these catalysts for things like water filtration and desalination. Finally, I just want to give a highlight of some of our amazing students. So I really believe that we have some of the most talented and motivated students in the country. We have a very collaborative culture where students are constantly working together to solve problems. I think that that's true of chemical engineering in general, is that we don't exist in a vacuum. We work in teams, and our students see that and value that. We have a very diverse student population with over 50% women in chemical engineering. And I want to highlight two of our student groups that are doing phenomenal work. We have a group called ChemiCar that's making, every year they make a car that runs on a chemical reaction. We've made fuel cells, there's been dye clocks, and they take that and compete in a national competition. We also have a new club that just started called ChemiCube that is focused on additive manufacturing. So looking at small scale, how can the prompt this year was water filtration. So how could you create a water filtration system? I think it had to be less than $100 and it had to fit in a 1 foot by 1 foot cube, where you could take that into, say, a remote area, that doesn't have access to clean water, and use their cube in that way. And they actually came in 3rd place at the inaugural competition. So that was really exciting. And yeah, so I look forward to our discussions and learning more about your companies.
Thanks, Joanne. All right, we are running ahead of schedule. Woohoo! Paul, you are up.
Okay, I think I'm going to share my slides. Are good?
Yep. We can.
I'm not going to go to presenter mode because I'm having monitor issues. So I'm just going to keep it like this.
Sounds good.
Well, I'm happy to be here today to represent the Energy Science, Technology, and Policy program, and maybe building off what Joanne and Kelvin said, largely focusing on the undergraduate population. The university and the College of Engineering have very strong master's programs also, both within the traditional disciplines and also interdisciplinary and specialized niche areas. And the Energy Science and Technology Policy program offers distinct and customizable interdisciplinary engineering energy degrees. So the program is based in engineering. It's aligned in science, attuned to sustainability and environment. And as we already heard, that the College of Engineering is somewhat distinct in having a very strong and longstanding engineering public policy program. And our alumni are quite informed by both economics and public policy. So being a master's program and a little bit different, what kind of students do we attract? They're a little bit self-selective. These are students who are technical professionals. They have excellent academic credentials. Most come from BS in engineering, but some are from related science fields. 2/3 of them are coming straight from their BS, their undergraduate degrees, and 1/3 of them have post-grad work experience. Beyond the ability to succeed here, all of the students have to demonstrate some passion for careers where they'll be leading interdisciplinary energy teams and solving large problems in the industrial sector on energy. And so we select only those students who are going to come in and participate in the professional program and add to their cohort. The philosophy behind the degree program is that effective solutions to energy problems are going to come from engineers and technical managers who understand the interdisciplinary challenges of energy and are well informed on broad issues of energy, including these listed here: supply, conversion, transmission, storage, demand, utilization, economics, policy, sustainability, environment. And so our program curriculum is built around that idea. This is a picture of the energy landscape from an MRS bulletin article around the time where this program was being developed. And so you can see on the left-hand side, there's supply and conversion. In the middle, there's transport and storage. And on the right-hand side in energy, we have demand and utilization. And underpinning it all down on the bottom are policies and economics that guide society's usage. So our program is shown here on the right, where the 4 core classes that we teach are linked into these different areas: energy, conversion and supply, transport and storage, demand and utilization, and policy and economics. And our program is the nexus or the overlap in the Venn diagram of all those things. So the core of the program is to build these interdisciplinary thinkers that have strength in engineering already. So building on that description on the top, our students take about a quarter of their units in our energy engineering core. These are taught by faculty who have expertise in these different areas. Then each of our students is required to take about 1/3 of their engineering units in a distinct engineering partner institution. So we've heard from Kelvin from civil and environmental, and Joanne from chemical, but we also have strong overlaps with electrical and computer engineering in the power systems area, with mechanical engineering and energy systems, and with new materials in the material science and engineering department. And also, as I already mentioned, engineering public policy. Probably the largest chunk of our students come through mechanical, electrical, and engineering public policy, with smaller amounts doing the other 3 engineering. As I said before, this is a distinctive and it's a customizable engineering program. So beyond being able to select which engineering disciplinary concentration, they can choose about 1/3 of their degree, 1/3 of their courses in the energy graduate level electives in the College of Engineering, but also even more broadly, there are really exciting things going on in Tepper, the business school, Hines, which is the public policy management program, Mellon, which is the College of Science, Even in the School of Architecture, we've had students do research programs as well as take classes in the green building and building energy management when they're aligned with civil and environmental engineering, as well as computer science, especially focused in the area of machine learning and data sciences. So the way this program is built up is that we teach the energy engineering core, but then we're reliant on our partners and other faculty members around the university. And I think it's important to point out that every one of these engineering departments that are shown here are doing significant amount of work in the energy, sustainability, and environment landscapes. And there's about 150 faculty who self-identify as working or teaching in the area of energy related to this discipline. And it's based off of those 150 faculty collated into these different areas that is the real strength of the energy teaching and education and research expertise at Carnegie Mellon. So we end up offering 4 degrees. They are really 2 degrees plus internship versions of those degrees. So we have a 2-semester and a 3-semester degree. And then you can add an internship program to those over the summer in the applied study options. So all of our students go through these, and being able to add a 3rd semester and to add either a project-based advanced study program or add another engineering concentration to build depth in a different area, give the students very, very strong and yet broad understanding of energy. And what we're really looking to do is to teach leaders who can pioneer the fields of energy, but by bringing together interdisciplinary teams where they can communicate well across the entire spectrum, including business and policymakers. So one of the other strengths that we have here at Carnegie Mellon is the Wilton E. Scott Institute for Energy Innovation. It's a university-wide institute that addresses the important energy-related challenging, and they foster and enable collaborative research, strategic partnerships, public policy outreach. And you can see here a few of our students participating in one of the challenges, the Scott Institute. They sort of collate the entire faculty across the landscape at Carnegie Mellon University, and these are some areas that we're quite strong in. We are an educational initiative, sort of outreach. We work very closely with the Scott Institute. Our offices are housed in the Scott Hall, and the Scott Institute Energy Leadership are right down the hall from where we are. So that is another place where we interact. Our students, our professional students, get to interact with leaders both in policy, national labs, thought leaders in government, in either research or in colloquia and panels, and develop professional skills through there. Now, just to give a call out to everybody else, again, we're built off of the success everywhere. And we already heard about one of the environmental centers at Carnegie Mellon in chemical engineering, but there's a variety of other ones that also exist here, starting from the Scott Institute, but several other ones that these go across university areas, the Steinbrenner Institute for environmental. I'm not going to read them all. You can flip through them and look them up if you like. But there's a significant number of large scale efforts focused around energy and the environment at Carnegie Mellon that our students are spanning the spectrum of what you've seen already, from both engineering departments to interest across the energy landscape, and we help guide them through there. I should say, I don't think I have a slide for this, but there is also several other energy-focused master's programs on campus. That includes an energy-focused master's in Tepper. There's 2 energy-focused masters in architecture and an energy policy in the Hines Institute. And those programs are also teaching classes that are very popular amongst our students for breadth and in the advanced studies. So our program, and I'll wrap it up here, our program has produced about 240 alumni the 12 years that we've been graduating. Most of the pictures you saw today were from graduation events last week on these slides. We have about obviously this math doesn't work up. It should be about 75% of our alum are working in the United States, and about a quarter of them are distributed across the world in these locations that you can see here. Most of our students go on to industrial energy sector jobs. About 30% go on to consulting, and most of the time that consulting is in energy. A few of them go on to academia. That really means they went off to get their PhD, and then we stopped keeping track of them from there. And 5% of them go on to nonprofit or governmental jobs. And again, the CPD, we partner strongly with the CPDC, who's hosting this event today, and they store all of the outcomes as you saw earlier, and we're very proud to be part of that and to have them take care of where our alums go. So I think that's all that I had for today, and I'm happy to participate in the conversation about where our students go and what you're interested in as alums.
Thanks, Paul. And thanks for the quick shout out to the CPDC. We appreciate you as a partner. All right, so we finished up a little early with our presentations and such. I feel like we could give that extra time to Q&A. So if you do have questions, we encourage you to unmute yourself, raise your hand. We are happy to answer any questions. And I usually will, at this point, delegate those questions to those in our academic units or academic departments that are represented here today. So please feel free to put your questions in the chat. You can raise your hand, unmute yourself, whatever you feel most comfortable with. And I'll give it a few seconds for anyone who wants to ask a question.
Hey, I have one question. In your civil engineering and environmental courses, do you give any basics of building information modeling to your students?
Yes, good question. Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we actually have a specific course in building information modeling, and this idea of buildings talking to the inhabitants and talking to other infrastructure is obviously a very important thing moving into energy, water, sustainable cities, smart cities type things, and it's I think we're really proud to have been pioneers in that area many years ago, and absolutely yes. And our students do. We have formal training in data science, data analytics as part of our undergraduate program, and as well as our graduate program. And in the graduate program at the MS level, we have kind of joint degrees, if you will, dual degree programs that includes components of computer science, and of course we have the best computer science program in the world here.
Wow. Okay, good. Actually, I am from a company named Adventure. So we are basically, we are engineering company, and we are doing engineering projects all over the world. Actually, we have a very wide clientele. So we are looking for an on-site team to develop an on-site team as well. So here in the United States, we have been working since 2007 here. And our team is in India, basically. We have 273 engineers working from India. So we have offices all around in Australia, Dubai, and all. So we are now planning to develop a team here in the United States. So what we see is like, even the employees here and the students, if we wanted to recruit, they don't seem to be having much expertise in BIM. So we approached state of Pennsylvania, where we are located, and in association with state of Pennsylvania, we approached East Augsburg University, and we have a BIM lab set up. So what we are doing is, the students who are in the engineering sector and planning to, if they are interested in engineering jobs, so in the United States or anywhere. So here we have a very huge market in BIM, and we have a lack of expertise. That's what, if you just Google any of the job sites, you see that a lot of opportunities are open, but very rarely the recruitment is done. So we have a BIM lab setup. So we are looking for if anyone is interested, and we are very happy to associate, and any companies who wanted to recruit like us, any companies who wanted to recruit the students from your college or any other college, so the state of Pennsylvania is giving but not funding, and it's free for this course. So it will be absolutely free, so that they get trained and we can recruit. So we are basically planning to develop a team here and to establish a team here. So that's why. So whether it's part of your curriculum is BIM, or is that something outside of your curriculum?
So in our curriculum, we have a course called 12770. It's Autonomous Sustainable Buildings Theory to Practice. It has a focus on real world deployments, and in particular with respect to retrofitting buildings with hardware and software to increase autonomy of buildings. So it's really life cycle stages of buildings, HVAC, electrical, water systems, things like that.
Okay, understood. Anyway, thank you so much for the query answers to my query. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
There was also, I think, a special topics course, Kelvin, on building energy management that several of our students take. I don't know if it ever migrated over to a high level one, but also master students have done research projects on building energy management, both with facilities here and also with the architecture department.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Harry Levinson. I went to Carnegie Mellon back in the 70s, and one of my friends and I started a company a couple of years ago. We're focused on renewable energy, trying to develop a thermal energy storage system. And one of I've been using Carnegie Mellon to reach out for students and interns, but via Handshake. And I guess my question is there a more formal way to do that with internships and working with specific programs and either classes or professors?
That's a good question. I can take this one. So Harry, Handshake is the place that all of our students are going to go to find opportunities to apply to, but you can work with us in the CPDC. So I work with graduate engineering students, and I'll put my contact information in the chat. And I also worked with undergraduate engineering students at one point. So I'm very familiar with some of these departments as well. And we work with sending information to students, whether it's via email, through Handshake system as well. We can pin it to their profile so that they see it when they first log in. If there's any way that you need the word out through other channels, we can work closely with the departments to try and get information shared both directions. But if you are looking to recruit specific levels of students, whether it's master's level students, PhD or bachelor's level for internships, we can connect you with the right people, so to speak, if you're searching for a very specific type or recruiting for a very specific type of student. But if you're just trying to get the word out generally, we can do that as well. So I'll put my email address in the chat, and you're welcome to email me. I'm happy to answer any questions you have, and I can connect you with others in our office as well if you need additional support.
Okay, great. We are located in Pittsburgh, so I don't know if there's a way to sponsor class projects or programs. That's just another idea going through my head. I don't know if that's the intent of this interaction or not.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Very good.
There are other ways of connecting that we, in addition to participating with CPDC, we do post jobs that don't necessarily come through Handshake, but then the students are supposed to really contact them and then bring it back to CPDC to make sure that it's all on the up and up. But we do post a lot of jobs within our own programs when we get just information from alumni or like yourself. And so we're happy to try to make that connection. And of course, you saw that we have internships, and we're all of our students are constantly looking for internships, although they're kind of wrapping up here for the summer.
Yeah, maybe that's my question. Is this, do I approach you and say I have an internship, or I just put it on Handshake and the student finds it and then they work with you?
I would say post it on Handshake, but let someone know that you posted it on Handshake. So that I would say come to us in the CPDC and we can get it to our department partners.
Okay.
Just to make everyone aware that it's there so that it's just not sitting in the abyss. But in terms of, academic projects or sponsorship of projects, that's really at the department level. So Joanne, it looks like you wanted to mention something.
Oh, yes. I was just going to say, depending on what, and I can only speak for my department, but when we often have alumni reach out about things like, could I come and talk to your class about this project I'm doing? Or would you want some kind of sponsorship of a design project? I teach an intro to chemical engineering course, and I'm always looking to bring folks in from industry who have different experiences for that exposure in the first year. So depending on what you are interested in and what kind of engagement you're looking for, I know that in our department, reaching out to faculty members is always welcome. How fruitful it is, I don't know, but I'm always looking to bring in people to talk to my students.
Okay, thank you.
I think that in the energy landscape, reaching out to the Scott Institute is a good place to sort of get redirected quickly. Just the idea of like a thermal storage system, it could be any kind of engineering that you're particularly looking for. So they would be able to quickly move you in a direction of whether you're interested in the materials for storage, the process, the system, the electronics associated with it, whatever your focus is on, they'll be able to quickly get you to the right person.
Okay, very good. Thanks.
Hi there. My name is Alex Jenner. I'm from Messer Americas. We're in the industrial gas industry. I work really closely with a rotational program here, so we get a lot of students from really across the country, typically mechanical, chemical engineers, but we're really trying to open it up to other engineering disciplines. I guess my question is, do you, other than these speakers from industry, do you introduce industries through your curriculum, like just without bringing in external speakers?
Oh, yes. From my perspective, so I teach a first year chemical engineering course, and there's an intro course in every department. So every department does things a little bit differently. But from my perspective, I'm always trying to bring in new industries. I write problems that have to do with different types of industries. And then our student organization, AICHE, the American Institute of Chemical Engineers, is always looking to do things like factory tours or virtual tours. So I'm not sure what kind of engagement you're wondering about, but that's what I'm doing. And I know other faculty are doing similar.
Okay, I guess just to, so students might not understand that, like the industrial gas space or just other industries in general that might be I guess more specialized. But we bring in a lot of chemical engineers or mechanical engineers, so I guess just trying to get some insight into how we can get the word out more just about the industry in general, let alone our organization.
Yep, this is Isaiah from Messer. I might have some background noise because I'm at the airport now, but I'm not sure if the seniors still have senior seminar, since I was an alumni from 2016 and 2017 for the IMB program. But I know for us, we had that 3-unit class where you had to learn about different applications in chemical engineering and some of the industry applications. So I think it would be a nice way to kind of give some explanation of some of the more specialized industries, through that senior seminar class that was usually taught in the spring semester, if that's still ongoing.
That does exist still.
And as another follow-up, is there a different cadence on how often students get to engage with recruiters of different companies? Since when I was there, we typically just had an event once a year, maybe a few days prior to the TOC at the time, where different companies would come in and there'd be a bagel and coffee chat type thing in the chemie department, where you'd get to meet with companies prior to it. But I wasn't sure if there was anything else outside of that that still is ongoing with chemie, and also if there's things such as that with other departments outside of chemie.
So from a non-department level, I would say just from like a university level and like the CPDC, companies have the ability in Handshake to schedule events, and they can work with us to get connected to student groups like AICE or other areas. We can also connect with departments as well, but they have the ability to create events like Handshake. You could do an information session, you could do a tech talk, you could do a coffee chat. You basically get to make it whatever you want. And those are some ways to introduce niche areas. And we could work with you to advertise them. And outside of like events, employer events, we also offer, outside of the TOC, there are other career fairs in both the fall and the spring. And we have an engineering virtual fair in both the fall and in the spring. And that is really focused on non-ECE specific engineering populations. So every engineering population in the College of Engineering outside of ECE is where we promote for our students to attend and engage with engineering employers. So that might be something of interest for Messer in the coming months, in the coming academic year.
Okay, yeah, that'd definitely be interesting, because I remember when I was there, a lot of chemies tended to shy away from the TOC, since if you weren't EC or CS, it was often difficult to find companies.
Totally understandable. It's a beast. Kelvin.
And just one thing I thought I'd add, a lot of our departments, and I think Amanda was touching on this, have their own sort of mini TOC kind of events that we have within the department, and we hold something every year. And to be honest, I'm not sure, with COVID, it's been a little bit strange, and but you used to be able to just walk through, and faculty would walk through, and students would make appointments to meet with people. Amanda, do you know something more about the scheduling of those?
I don't. But generally speaking, a lot of our student groups, I would say, have been more active in recent years because of COVID. So for example, CEE has a couple different student groups, and they have engaged employers to attend events on campus and engage with the student population. So those have been more popular, I would say, of recent. But yeah, I'm not quite sure I'm recalling what you're referencing, Kelvin. Also in CE, they do seminar series as well. So they host alumni to come back and talk about different industries. So each department varies.
And in every spring, there's an energy week that the Scott Institute runs. And there's usually an energy career fair associated with that as well. So in particular, to focus on this area of environmental sustainability and energy, that career fair has been slowly growing over time. And of course, COVID has rendered it mostly virtual for the last few years. But that's probably a good use of time for companies. I mean, I think the challenge is often that the breadth of energy and sustainability is so wide, and we're not a 40,000 student population. So you're coming in to find the 3 to 10 students who are really jazzed about your area to get them, and they're looking for your area as well. And really finding the best use of your time to come here is where you can work with CPDC to make sure that this is the highest impact you'll have and the most number of people. And the Energy Career Fair has really been helpful for our students in this sector.
Thanks for bringing that up, Paul. All right, we are definitely over time. We were supposed to end at 2:25, apologies. But I wanted to make sure everyone had a moment to ask their questions. Just for wrap-up purposes, I'm going to stop recording, and you all are welcome to leave. Thank you very much to our speakers. I really appreciate it, you taking your time to share about your departments and your students. And again, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.